My desire to go into music was growing up in church. Sang in church there with the church choir. And in Memphis, we heard everything on the radio from country to gospel to jazz to blues and rhythm and blues. I was a daydreamer. I just submerged myself into listening to music. Stax Records gave all of us neighborhood kids an opportunity. We were integrated when segregation was rampant in Memphis. A little bit of church, a little bit of blues, a little bit of country. It just created that unreal energy there at Stax.
Well, I am here today uh, with Mr. William Bell, who's a member of our great local, and to my knowledge anyway, the very first member of our local. Well, I know that's a fact, but he may be the very first Atlantan to ever be awarded the National Endowment for the Arts National Heritage Fellowship. This is the highest honor that our government gives to an artist in our culture. And I've been following it since the very beginning because so many of my mentors received it early on. And every year I would open the paper. It's like, you know, who's in the World Series or who won the World Series? Okay. And it's everyone from musicians to flute makers to boat builders to dancers to people who make lace and quilts. So it's not just a music award. It's something that honors the diversity and the richness of our culture. And so, Mr.
It's an eclectic type of group, and what I like about it is each individual in their own field, they mentor younger people to teach them the origin of whatever they're doing. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's the thing that distinguishes this from, say, the Grammys or the CMA Awards or the W.C. Handy Awards or the Dove Awards. That's for a product.
Right.
This is for not only a lifetime of your own accomplishments, but the fact that heritage is not just something that happened back then.
Right.
Heritage is an ongoing thing, and you have played your part in it. You learned from your elders, and now you are eldering somebody else. That's what's the coolest thing about this award, and why I can't imagine a higher honor, because it's just not about you.
Right. Absolutely. And I felt so humbled because I had no idea. You know, when you're in the moment, you don't know if anybody's watching what you're doing. You're not doing it for that reason. Yeah. You just, I want to pass this along. Artists like B.B. King and Bobby Bland took me on, Rufus Thomas under their wings. So I said, okay, let me reach back and get some of these kids and teach them the origin of it. So that'll make them better musicians in their own time, and everything. So it's just a wonderful way of just keeping that legacy there.
And now, you were born in Memphis, correct?
I was born in Memphis, yes.
And you were instrumental, quite literally, in the creation and the popularization of Stax Records.
Yes, and soul music. I was the first single male act that Stax signed. They had Rufus and Carla, who they loaned off to Atlantic Records, but I was the first single male act that they signed, and I gave them the first national hit with You Don't Miss Your Water. So it kind of, I came full circle in 2016, 17, because I re-signed with Stax again and gave him a Grammy, so which was, to me, that was like icing on the cake, because it was wonderful to do that. Yeah.
And that was in a field that didn't even exist back in the day, in the Americana field.
Yes.
Which is, when people say, what is Americana? It's like, what is folk music? What is soul music? It's this mashup of roots music of all sorts and people and alt music. And to get something in there says something.
Well, thank you. I feel very humbled, just to be in the mix at this late date. I've had a storied career down through the years. I've had some wonderful fans and people in the industry like jocks and stuff. So just to be in the mix at this late date is great.
Well, it takes continued creativity and being willing to, hand your work off to younger folks. Now, tell me about how your mentoring works. Is this through the Take Me to the River Foundation?
Well, it is. We work with the Berkeley School of Music and the New School in New York and different organizations, mentoring kids and doing lectures at the colleges and stuff. But it's just, we started out doing it with the Stax kids. And after we were able to resurrect the Stax Academy and everything and museum, which now we have the academy, the museum, and a charter school. So #1 charter school in Tennessee. So, but we started out just actually doing concerts and everything to help raise funds to resurrect the Stax Museum building. And it just kind of mushroomed from that. And then after the museum was redone, we decided to build the academy right next to it. And the kids just were, like I said, like little sponges. They were so excited to learn and to be able to meet some of the older acts and stuff that they heard about their whole lives and never got to meet. And so we would invite them to Stax and they would come in. And when we built the academy, not only them, but their parents and everybody was just elated that they could have a place to go and learn a craft and follow their dreams. And that's basically what we did.
And for those of you who are watching this, I would really encourage you to check out the movie Take Me to the River. It's heartwarming. It's I choked up numerous times. It's not only pairing younger musicians with some of the legends, such as Mr. Bell, but it's also a fantastic reunion of
Yes.
some of the early players in Stax and so many of the great studios that were, Royal and
Royal, yes.
and
yeah.
all the great studios that are around, many of which really suffered after the assassination of Dr. King.
Absolutely. And the thing with doing that movie, there was no animosity, no egos, no everything. Everybody just hung the egos on the nail outside. So you would come in and it was a welcoming committee and people that hadn't seen each other in 10 years or 15 years, they'd come back together and it was just wonderful. It was like you said, a reunion, a family reunion, yes.
And then these young kids, I mean, Bobby Blue Bland and Otis Clay schooling young Peanut there and the young kids who came in and played on your piece.
Yes, yeah, kids, yeah.
Oh, and they must lie awake at night.
Years ago, when we first started the academy, I did a thing in DC there, and I took them in concert with me there. And then I did, oddly enough, I went to Orlando and did an older, I guess you say, convention of retired people. But I took the kids and took some of the band members and the kids organization and the singers and dancers and let them open for me. And the people just went wild. But it reminds me of me because I started my career early on in church at 7 and then branched out into secular music when I was 14 and worked around off Beale Street on Hernando there. That's how I got to know all of the iconic guys from that day, like BB and Bobby and Roscoe and all those guys. And it was just like, to me as a kid, it was just wonderful to just know these people personally and be able to get on stage with them and work. And that's what I tried to give those kids an experience of. Just to go out here, meet the people that follow this music or follow the music that your parents listen to and let you listen to, and experience that. And they did, and it was just, they just flying colors. It's just marvelous how they came out of it. And a lot of them have gone on to just in today's music with the hip hop and the rap stuff, they've gone on to just make stellar careers out of it.
Well, it's one of the reasons I know that you were awarded the fellowship, because of your understanding of the continuum that heritage is, and that your work has a kind of immortality then when you know that you have been able to sort of set a younger person on the road. Man, when I grow up, I want to be you.
Thank you. That's
And
what most of the kids tell me. When I grow up, Mr. Bell, I want to be just like you, because you still has that energy and the love for it. And that's what it's about, though. You know, you got to love what you do. That love transcends into your product and to your fans and everything else. And so if you love what you do, that's going to shine through, and you never get bored in whatever.
and surrounding yourself with people who are of other generations, whether they be older or younger,
Right.
makes you understand how rich a field you're in, and it just, it jazzes you, you know, to keep going. I mean, a lot of
Yeah,
people.
it's the same story. It just generations relate to it a little bit differently, but it's the same story. That's what we found out doing Take Me to the River. These kids in this genre of music that they're doing, they're just telling about their lives and what it is, but we try to give them an overall picture of what life is about, so
Mhm.
that they can realize that, yeah, I'm going through this, or you know, whether it's love or whether it's some trauma in your life, whatever it is, that's what you're talking about in your music, and it's the same story through generations.
It is. It is. Well, I want to tell you how incredibly proud your union local is of you for the work that you continue to do, and the heritage that you pick up and you carry along. And just congratulations, you know, and let us add our praise to the great praise that you've already been showered. And I appreciate you taking this time with us. And oh, listen, for y'all who are watching, check out, go to YouTube and check out Mr. Bell's Tiny Desk concert.
Yeah,
I have never seen a bigger ensemble at
yeah.
a Tiny Desk concert, and he's singing into a little tiny diaphragm mic and never once pops. It's quite
I
remarkable.
know. And you know, the thing is, I try to keep the band large like that because that gives the authenticity to the music. And when people come to see you, they'll feel that energy of the horns and the backup singers and all of that that makes up the artist down front, because we all need that behind us. And also I want to commend you guys, because the unions have always been kind of like our backbone. You know, you're there silently, there that for helping the artist, because sometimes, like I said, when you're dealing with the now in thing, you run up across all kind of obstacles and everything, but you always have somebody like a big brother at your back with the unions and everything. You guys you have always been there. So I just want to give you kudos also for doing that.
Well, everybody's the union, and you know, like a big band, we all got to play our part. Know where, you know, know not to step on the horns.
Right. Everybody's into the conversation and they got to speak
Yeah,
up.
yeah, everybody knows what their role is. So
Right.
thank you so much. I appreciate you taking the time. You probably got hit songs to write. You know, Eric Clapton and all those boys are waiting out there for some more
Oh
songs.
yeah, that's been that's an affirmation that I guess when other artists can see something in something that I've created, and when they want to do it, and those iconic artists have been just. I've had artists from Jimi Hendrix to Eric Clapton to just numerous artists that have cut my stuff, Otis Reddings and people like that. Of course, Albert King. I can't. And it's just been wonderful that you create something that they can relate to. And now with it being world music, you just never know sometimes when you're alone sitting at a piano or something, writing something about one of your experiences or something that you've observed. You don't know how it's going to be received. And then to have some other artist come along and put that spin. Billy Idol, total different genre of
Oh
music.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Found a ballad of mine and made it his, you know, and it went #1 around the world. So that's a very good feeling that said, okay, here's a rock artist that has a family thing, and he heard something on a love ballad that I created, but he could relate to it and raise the tempo to fit his genre of music and make it work for him. So that's a great thing. Great feeling.
Well, we live in an increasingly diverse world, and it was it was really heartwarming and taking me to the river to see you collaborating with Snoop Dogg, for instance, and him saying, "Man, my computer is all R&B and soul."
Yeah.
You look at my iTunes, that's all there is on there, and because this is what I grew up listening to. And I went this direction, but this is still my foundation over here.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, listen, my friend, thank you so much. Continued success. Congratulations. We are so proud to call you one of ours. And I look forward to seeing you in person when we can see one another in person again.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, thanks for having me.
You're very welcome.
All right.